It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Paul Baker, who is the owner of Stadium Journey. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Brandon. Thanks for having me on. I hate to correct you right off the top, but I'm actually not the owner of Stadium Journey, but I am the president now. So we can get into that as we have our conversation. It's kind of actually an interesting story about the history of the website.
Can you talk about how you became the president of Stadium Journey?
Sure. Stadium Journey was started back in around 2010, so it's been going quite a while. It's 10 years old, or almost 10 years old. But anyway, a gentleman named Paul Swaney started the website as a way to kind of chronicle his quest to join club. Well, at the time it was probably Club 118, maybe. So he wanted to visit all of the stadiums of Major League Baseball, the National Football League, the NBA, and the NHL. And he wanted to be able to chronicle and share information about his travels. So from there, it exploded into not just the big four sports, but it expanded into a worldwide enterprise where we cover. I always like to say, if they've got a ball and they're keeping score, we'll be there. We cover stadiums, arenas, ballparks from around the world. We have over 2,500 different stadium reviews on the site. In I think we're up to 41 different countries now. So it's just really grown exponentially from that first idea into what it is now. And what had happened is a few years ago, Paul Swaney decided that he wasn't willing to keep the website running any longer. He was going to move on to other opportunities. And a bunch of the writers got together and said, look, we really enjoy Stadium Journey. We love visiting the different places. We don't want to see the website go away. So what Paul did is he kind of handed the whole operations over to us. So now there is a group of four of us who were formerly writers who now comprise the management team. So we've been able to keep the website going and grow it a little bit into different areas.
Can you talk about, of course, being a writer and then now, of course, management team, being a management team? What was the big difference in that?
Oh, well, there's a whole lot more responsibility now. Being a writer is great. And it's still, I'll be honest with you, that's the part of working for Stadium Journey that I enjoy the most. I love going to the different places, checking them out, sharing what I see with our readers. I love developing the reviews and doing all that stuff. And of course, now being management, there's a whole other side that we need to keep track of. We need to make sure that we're generating revenue. We're going to make sure that we're paying all the bills. We need to do a lot of recruiting of new writers. So, hey, if anybody's listening to your podcast, Brandon, and is interested in possibly joining our team, we're always looking for talented writers. Little shameless plug right there. So, yeah, the running and administration of a website is so much more than what it appears on the surface.
Can you talk about what is some of the stadiums that you visited?
So my territory, I live in Massachusetts. So for Stadium Journey, I am the New England regional correspondent, which basically means that I cover everything in the 6-state region up here, all of New England. And I have covered all of the professional teams, all of the Division I college teams in the big four sports. I've done some small college stuff. We've done all the minor leagues in basketball and baseball and hockey and more. But me personally, I have actually done reviews from coast to coast. I've done reviews from as far away as California and Arizona. I've done some in Texas and Oklahoma. So basically, and a lot of our writers do the same. We all like to travel. So when we hit the road, we kind of do it as a busman's vacation. So I'll plan my trips around new places, or if there's a place that we haven't been to for Stadium Journey, or if it's a place that the review needs updating, I'll do my best sometimes to try to fit it into my schedule.
Can you talk about what is your favorite NFL stadium that you visited?
Okay. Favorite, and I'll start by saying that I used to work for the New England Patriots. I worked for the Patriots for 7 years in concessions, game day operations. So I'm a little biased towards Gillette Stadium. But if we were to take Gillette out of the mix, I've only been to 10 of the other NFL stadiums. So I don't have a huge wealth of knowledge to pick from, but I would have to say my favorite out of the ones I've been to has been in Baltimore. I would have to say that's my favorite one.
Have you been to, like, for example, Pittsburgh Steelers or the Carolina Panthers?
I have been to the Panthers. I have been to Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, but not for a game. I've been to the stadium. So yeah, Carolina, we went. Geez, that was actually quite a while ago now. I'm talking about maybe 2010. So the big difference in Charlotte between 2010 and the last time I went to downtown Charlotte, which was probably about 2017 or 2018, is just how much the downtown has grown in that short period of time. But yeah, one funny story about the Carolina Stadium. I think the biggest brawl I ever saw in a football stadium was in Carolina, and we were there for a preseason game. So it just shows how much more seriously people take your football down there than up here in the Northeast.
What are some of your favorite college stadiums that you've been?
Okay, so again, I'm going to put a little qualifier on this because living in New England, as you may or may not know, college sports are just not the big deal up here that they are in other parts of the country. So our stadiums really, especially when you talk about the big sports, you talk about football and basketball, but actually more even considering baseball, the stadiums are just not much to shout about up here. So if I had to pick some favorites, I'll split this into a couple sports because I have done a little bit of traveling, not a ton. Football, I'm going to cheat on football. I'm going to say that my favorite one I've been to, actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to cheat. Army, Mikey Stadium, an absolutely incredible game day experience. And in talking to people who've done a lot of traveling, they would actually agree with me. So you have the pomp and the circumstance of being at a at a military academy with the cadets marching in formation. And if you go there early enough, which I definitely recommend, if you're ever going to take in a football game at Army, get there early. Go to the plains, as they call it, and see the cadets marching their formation in the morning. Explore the grounds. The West Point campus is just an amazing place to visit. They give out tours. It's one of the best campuses I've ever seen. And then the game day experience, just watching the cadets, the whole student body there standing on one side of the stadium, right on the shores of the Lusk Reservoir, it's worth the price of admission. And now you also talk about some of the stuff they do where they have the cadets charging in, holding the American flags. I mean, if it doesn't give you a little choked up feeling, you may not be an American. And they have the paratroopers coming into the stadium delivering the game balls. It's just something that you don't see anywhere else.
What about in college basketball? Do you have a favorite stadium that you've been to?
Okay, basketball. I've only been to basketball stadiums in the New England area, so we do have a couple of nice ones. My favorite would have to be the Dunkin' Donut Center, but I say that because it's my home stadium. I've actually played basketball there. I've been there. I go there regularly for hockey games and basketball games, so it's home. But if to get the big time basketball feeling, I would have to say Gamble Arena on the University of Connecticut is the best we've got here in New England. It's an on-campus gymnasium. It's cozy. They pack in 10,000 fans into that place, and it gives an incredible. I don't have a lot to compare it to, but it gives an incredible home court advantage for the Huskies, and it's a great place to go catch a game.
I know how you're a hockey fan, so what is your favorite arena that you've covered for hockey?
Okay, yeah. So college hockey is something that I can actually talk about. I'm actually trying to get to all 60 Division I hockey arenas. We're halfway there. I've been to almost 30. I've been to 28 now. So a couple of ones that stand out. the great thing about hockey barns is some of them are so old, and some of them really break the mold. If you think about Ingles Rink on the campus of Yale, the Yale Whale, they call it, because it was designed by this world-renowned architect, and he built the arena to look like a skate and to signify motion. So it's got this giant backbone that runs the whole length of the center of the arena, and the roof undulates like a skate. It looks like a whale. That's why they call it the Yale Whale. That's a great place. Hobey Baker Rink, which was built, over a century ago. And it's funny, Hobey Baker, there's no signage or anything. I was standing right next to it and literally did not know I was right next to Hobey Baker Rink. It's like stepping back in time. But some of my favorites, so much of what makes this goes for all of college sports, the student sections and the atmosphere there. And in the Northeast, we're lucky. We've got some great student sections. You think of the University of Maine, when they used to be up on top of the national rankings, their student section just brought so much to Alfond Arena. And you could talk the same about the Dog Pound at Northeastern, Matthews Arena, which is actually the oldest indoor rink still in use in the entire world. It actually was the original home to 2 NHL teams. How many rinks can say that?
That's pretty cool.
The Boston Bruins got their start there at Matthews, and the Carolina Hurricanes got their start there back when they were the Boston Whalers of the WHA. So there's a bit of trivia that you can tell your friends. But if I had to pick a favorite college hockey rink, I would say would be Songus Arena, the University of Massachusetts Lowell. It's a great rink, great sight lines. I used to go there when it was a professional rink in the American Hockey League, and I still love going there now that it's just being used by the college.
Have you covered any NHL stadiums?
Have I covered? Yes. As far as doing reviews, I believe the only NHL rink I've done a review for has been in Boston, but I have been to half of the league. So if you want to ask me which ones stand out, that's a tough one. There's kind of an arms race going on in the NHL now. If you've ever been to any of the new rinks, there's just so many new amenities and technology built into into the arenas. I'm thinking of Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, which just is amazing. It's sensory overload. There's so much technology built in to this place, and they brought all the old school stuff. They brought the statues over from Joe Louis Arena, and it's an amazing place to catch a game, but it still doesn't have that great feel yet. It's still too new, and the Red Wings are struggling. So the atmosphere just isn't what it was at the old barn. So for my favorite place to go catch a hockey game is actually in Philadelphia.
Have you ever visited PNC Arena or the Nashville Predators bars?
The Bridgestone Arena?
Yeah, Bridgestone.
Yeah, no, those are two on my wish list, and I believe those are the two closest ones in this country that I haven't been to yet. So definitely on my radar. The pandemic has really slowed everything down for not just me and not just for us at Stadium Journey, but everyone who loves sports and loves traveling with sports. So hopefully pretty soon we'll be able to get back and hit the road and start crossing these places off our checklist.
Have you covered any NBA?
Yes, I've actually, I've done reviews. Now the NBA actually is lagging behind as far as myself and traveling, but I have done reviews in Boston, and I think it's been updated since then, but I did a review of the arena in New Orleans.
That's wonderful. What are some of the future arenas for the NBA that you plan to cover?
Well, our goal at Stadium Journey is to have every review for the 4 major sports updated once a year. We don't always reach that goal, but we really try. Like, for instance, I was telling you that I've done reviews out in California. In January, just before everything closed down, I took a trip out to Los Angeles. And while I was there, redid our review for the Clippers. So actually, if you go to the website now, the review for the Staples Center for the Clippers is actually my review. Now, we happened to be out there at the time that Kobe Bryant passed away in that helicopter crash. So we didn't get to see the Lakers while we were out there. But yeah, I've heard that the Staples Center is just, there's no comparison between a Clippers game and a Lakers game. So I'd like to get back out there for a Lakers game. And hopefully we'll be able to do that at some time.
What is the process like going to these games to do reviews?
There's really two different ways that our writers like to attack the reviews. One is to be a working member of the press, get a press credential, and go in and get the privileges and the amenities that go along with being in the press box and all that good stuff. Some of our writers prefer to be a man in the stands, a fan in the stands. I don't want to say man in the stands. A lot of our writers are women, and they prefer to get a ticket, sit with the fans, and experience the game as a fan would. Now, our mandate is to give information for visiting fans. So, not saying one way is right, one way is wrong, but we do need to reflect the experience that a fan would have. So you can't really get that up in the press box. So even on those times where I'm up in the press box, because let's face it, sometimes maybe you can't get a ticket, or tickets can be pretty expensive. So, and being in the press box gives me a workstation. So even when I'm up in the press box, I'm spending most of the game in the stands, checking out the concourses, doing all the things. Our reviews are split into seven categories where we rate a facility. So we rate the food and beverage, the atmosphere, the neighborhood surrounding the arena, the fans, the access, both getting to and from the arena or the facility, and also within, concession lines, bathroom lines, concourses, getting around room and stuff like that. We rate the value, and we have a seventh category for catch-all extra stuff that may not fall into one of those first six categories. So when we're there, those are the kind of things we're keeping an eye on. And I'll tell you, like with the food and beverage, I'm kind of a food snob. I don't eat a whole lot of arena food just because it's expensive. If I'm going to pay $30 to eat, I want to go eat at a nice restaurant. But I will make sure that I'm taking a look at what's there, if there's special, what's a stadium known for? Because as you know, food has become such a big part of the experience, like going to a game now. And ballparks, every ballpark's got their signature items or their sponsored items. So we'll make sure that we try to capture all of that for the fans to give them a real good roadmap of what to expect when they're visiting a new place.
Can you talk about sometimes how hard it is, like, to be a fan of, like, let's say you have a favorite team, like maybe the Charlotte Hornets, but you're there to work and be like, well, this is what fans do. This is maybe what's happening in the game. How hard is that?
Oh, sure. That's, as a diehard Boston fan and someone who covers all the Boston stadiums, yeah, you've got to remember when you're there, particularly when you're there representing Stadium Journey, and if you're there, say in the press box, you got to put your fan hat away, and you're a member of the press right now. So if you're doing it, like I said, as a fan in the stands, you can experience the game and take your notes and still cheer on the home team. But you've got to remember you're representing Stadium Journey as well. So you've got to be focused on your work and not so much on the game, because what's kind of funny, and we get this kind of back and forth with a lot of organizations who maybe don't exactly get what we're doing. I'm not there reporting on the game when I'm working for Stadium Journey. I'm reporting on the venue. So it doesn't matter if it's I've been to some incredible games, let me tell you, but I've also, I'm not there to report on, Gordon Hayward scored 30 points for the Hornets today. That's not why I'm there. I'm there to check out what the fans are doing, what they're interacting, what the teams are doing to keep fans engaged and entertained through the day.
Can you talk about your YouTube channel and how that got started?
Sure. We're trying to branch out and diversify. And in the age of social media we have today, you've got to get eyes on your site and eyes on your product. So we have branched out into all the social media channels. We have a Facebook page, and we have a Twitter account, we have an Instagram account, and we also have a YouTube account. So we do a podcast bi-weekly. That's actually in its 4th season right now. So we've been doing this for over 3 years, and we've had some wonderful guests on the show. Especially recently, we really seem to be getting some momentum. So if you were to go to Stadium Journey's YouTube channel, you would pretty much right now just see a lot of podcasts, because we do audio and video versions. So video versions of all of our podcasts are on our YouTube channel. In the past, we've had some of our writers branch out into doing video reviews, which have been on the site, and different content like that. We hope to get more diverse options on our YouTube channel, but for right now, it's pretty much a bunch of podcasts. But if you're a fan of sports podcasting, and Brandon obviously are, there's some good stuff there. And so we've had some interesting guests, and it's a very eclectic menu of different things we've talked about.
What are your future plans with Stadium Journey?
Oh, our future plans, if I could have a wish, I would make it so that I could work at Stadium Journey full time and make a living doing that, and that all of our writers could do the same. But our shorter term goals are to grow the website, make it more popular, make it more of a respected name in the industry. I think we already have a pretty solid niche in the industry. I don't think there's anybody that does what we do to the extent we do it. I mean, and I was talking with one of our co-hosts of the podcast the other day, and we were saying, if you want to look up Wrigley Field, there's a million different places you can go and get nice pictures of Wrigley Field. You can get all the information you need of Wrigley Field. And we do that too. And we do it very well. But where we have the advantage on everyone else is we go everywhere. We cover everything. Like I said before, we've got over 2,500 different venues reviewed in 41 countries. Say you want to go to a summer collegiate baseball game on Cape Cod. We've got every Cape Cod League ballpark reviewed in depth, and everything you need to know about what you're going to find when you go to a Hyannis Harbor Hawks game is there. If we have every Division I basketball, football, baseball, and hockey arena covered. So if you're going to a college game, no matter where it is, you can be going to the University of Alaska for a basketball game. We've got you covered. We've got a review of it. So we're looking to, and we're always looking to grow. We're expanding into Europe. We've got some correspondents in Europe that cover in different countries there, all the soccer arenas, and we're looking to get the different sports covered out there as well.
Do you only cover, of course, the professional levels like NBA, NFL, or do you also cover like the G League, like for example, the NBA G League?
Yeah, we have reviews of maybe not all the G League. We're striving to get all the G League covered. I know personally I have done the main Red Claws a couple of times. We've got the WNBA. I think we've got every arena covered in the WNBA. So yeah, like I said, we go soup to nuts. We've got one of our writers, Mark Viquez, has carved out a nice niche for himself covering high school gymnasiums in Indiana, because you know how big basketball is in Indiana. And he's gone to these wonderful high school gyms that basically on a Friday night, you get the whole town there, and it's just fantastic. So yeah, we do the big boys, and we will cover anything else. Pro women's hockey. One of my side jobs is actually I work for one of the teams in the NWHL. We've got 3 of the 6 arenas covered in the NWHL. So yeah, we're everywhere.
That's pretty cool. Where can my listeners find, of course, the Sports Journey on social media, along with they have podcast platforms?
Yeah, Stadium Journey. We're on, like I said, we're on Facebook. You can follow our Facebook page. On Twitter and Instagram, we are at Stadium Journey. To find the Stadium Journey podcast, you can go to whatever podcast search engine you use, and you can just type in VOC Radio Network, VOC Nation Radio Network, and Stadium Journey will pop up. Or you can just go to our website, stadiumjourney.com, and we have a tab which has all the podcasts and one-stop shopping right there.
Thank you again, Paul, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with Stadium Journey.
Thank you, Brandon. It's my pleasure to be here.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Paul, for your interview, and best of luck.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.